Hello and welcome to Craft with Sarah. In this video, I'm going to show you how to put together this free layered mandala SVG, which you can find on my website, craftwithsarah.com/free-SVGs. This mandala is really beautiful and it has 12 different layers on it. 6 of them are the solid layers that you can see in the lighter colours here, and then the other 6 are cut slightly darker to make the beautiful, intricate details around the edge. Now by default, the SVG comes in all of these wonderful rainbow colours, and it makes such an amazing 3D effect. However, it also looks gorgeous when you cut it just in 2 colours, like I've done here on this Christmas snowflake design. It's exactly the same SVG file, but you can see how different it looks depending on the colours of card that you choose. In this video, not only will I show you how to stick it together, but also how to recolour the SVG in case you want to do a design like this. Let's get started. After you've downloaded the free layered mandala SVG from my website, you'll need to unzip the folder that it comes in. If you're not sure how to do that, check the description of this video, as I've included links to tutorials for Windows computers, Macs, iPhones, iPads, and Android devices. Once you've unzipped the folder, you're ready to upload the Mandala SVG into Cricut Design Space. Open up Design Space and make a new project so your screen will look like mine. We're going to click Upload on the left of the screen, and then click into Upload Image. From here, you can either click Browse to find a file on your computer, or you can drag and drop it. I've got it open on my other screen, so I'm going to drag and drop. Make sure you go to the folder which is your unzipped version, and then the file you want to select is the one called SVG_Mandala_Craft with Sarah. There are lots of other files in that folder, but make sure you upload the one which starts SVG. None of the other ones will work properly. So I'm going to drag my file in, and then it will show me a little preview, and it should look like this with all of the colours one on top of the other. If yours looks different and you see each of the colours separately in separate positions, that means you've uploaded the PNG version by mistake. However, not to worry, just click Cancel down on the bottom right and try again, and make sure on the second go you upload the one which starts SVG. When yours is looking like mine is on the screen, go ahead and press Upload on the bottom right. This is going to upload it into Design Space, and then it will appear in my recent uploads. Next, I just have to click on it and then press Insert Images on the bottom right, and it will appear on my canvas. I can then resize it by clicking and dragging, or use the width and height boxes at the top of the screen. By default, you'll get the rainbow version of the file. So I'm just going to quickly show you how you can recolor it if you want to cut it just in 2 colors, like the snowflake example I showed you at the beginning of this video. I'm going to run through this a little bit quickly because I do actually have a separate video on how to recolor layered SVGs in Cricut Design Space. So if this bit goes a little bit quick for you, check the description of this video and I'll include a link to that other video which goes through recoloring in a lot more detail and a lot slower. Okay, so to start with, I'm going to work with these red layers. I'm going to mimic the snowflake that I cut out and showed you earlier. So I'm going to click the bottom red layer first in the layers panel, which is the solid layer. I generally find that that works better as a lighter colour. So I'm going to go into my colour picker up here and choose a blue, but that's still a little bit dark for me. So I'm going to click Advanced and then drag the little circle to make a really light blue. So now I've got this one blue, I want to make all of the other solid layers that same blue. Now I could click each one and change the colour manually, but there's a faster way to do it. Click Colour Sync on the top right of your screen, and this then splits all of the layers out by colour, which means we can look for all of the solid layers and just click and drag them down to that new light blue one, and then let go with the mouse and it will change the colour. This is a really great feature because it lets you change lots of layers really quickly. So you can see now I've already done all of those solid layers to make them that new color. But what about the top layers? Well, I'm going to click Layers again and then click my red, go into the color box, and I'm going to select the same color now, but then in advance just drag it a little bit darker. I'm happy with that, so let's go to Color Sync again, and this time I want to drag all of the rainbow colors onto that slightly darker blue. And there we go, that is now all in 2 different colors, so I could go ahead and cut this out to make that snowflake effect. So whether you're doing the rainbow one, a 2-colored one, or something in between, go ahead and cut out all of the layers and then I'll show you how to stick them together. Here are all of my layers cut out, and I've just put them into position so that I can check I'm happy with the colours. I think I am, this is looking good. I've got my lovely rainbow effect, so I can start taking things apart to stick the layers together. I'm going to start at the bottom and move upwards. And for all of the layers that have the intricate details on, I'm going to glue those together instead of adding the foam, because otherwise if it was foam on all of them for all 12 layers, that would just be really, really tall. And also you won't be able to get the foam into these really thin details, so glue is better for the intricate layers. The glue I'm using is called Kalau, and I love this because it doesn't bend or warp the paper like some glues can do. So I get this on Amazon, there's a link in the description of the video, and then what I do is I put it into these tiny little needle tip bottles, which are also from Amazon, and these have really narrow tips on them so you can get the glue into all of the small places. So let's turn this upside down. And for this one, I'm actually just going to put the glue on the solid pieces. Glue's being a little bit stubborn. Yeah, I'm just going to put the glue on the solid bits, as I just said, because those narrow pieces really... There's a siren going. Because these narrow pieces really are narrow, like very narrow, even for this little bottle. So I'm going to just put the glue in the solid bits, but that's okay because it's still going to have a really good stick to it. There's lots of solid places here. Let's just put a big swirl in the middle. Let's bring that bottom layer back and line this up. One of the nice things about using glue is if you don't quite line it up on the first go, you've got that little bit of wiggle room to get it into position. There we go. All right, so next colour, and that's the blue. So this time I'm going to add on the solid layer, and I'm going to use the foam pads for that. The foam pads I like using are these ones from Dot and Dab. I like them because the tops come off really easily, so they're nice and quick to put on, but any foam pads will do. And then I cut them in half so that they just last a little bit longer. Alright, so I'm going to turn this upside down and add my foam. It's important to get a good amount of foam on the back, including in all of these little petals, because it will help it have a really firm stick and give it more stability when we add all the extra layers on top. And by cutting my foam pads in half, it means obviously I don't need to use as many, which is good. And then make sure you put a good amount of foam in the middle, and this will give the middle bit something to sort of fall back on, so it's not going to sag under the weight of all the other layers on top. Okay, so now I can peel the tops of the foam pads off to release all of the stickiness you can see with these dot and dab foam pads how quick it is to just rip the tops of the paper off. Now that's done, let's bring the purple back and then line this up. And I'm gently sort of lying it down to begin with so that if it's not in position I can take it off again quite easily. But I'm happy with that, so I'll push down to give it a nice firm stick with those foam pads. Next I can take the top blue piece, turn it upside down, and this one's going to have glue on it again. So let's add a nice amount of glue. And for this one, the outer bits are a little bit thicker. So with my needle tip bottle, I can just go around. Apologies if you can hear another police siren. Something must be going on. So yeah, my little needle tip perfectly fits in these gaps. So I can make sure there's enough glue that these little decorative petals aren't going to sort of start coming up or get ripped off by mistake. And there we go, all lined up. Just noticed I've got a little bit of blue in there that I didn't take out. There we go. Okay, next layer, and that is the green. Got to be a little bit careful taking them apart if you've put them one on top of the other, as they are all quite intricate. And my mat's playing up a bit. I'm using off-brand mats at the moment, which are not as good as the Cricut ones in my opinion, because some of the tackiness comes off on the card, which is why all my layers are kind of sticking together a bit. Okay, so this is going to sit in like that. So let's turn it over and add the foam. And just like with the blue layer, I'm going to put a little bit of foam in every petal. And then make sure you put some in the middle to give it that stability and stop it from sagging. And then peel off the backs to release all of the sticky. Now we can stick this down. So I'm going to line it up. And one thing I really like about this design is it's really easy to line things up because you have a clear, distinct guide on the layer below of where you need to stick it. And because it's symmetrical, it doesn't matter which way around you stick it. So you don't need to worry about which side is the top and which is the bottom. Just it should fit any which way. And then we have the top green layer. There we are. And this one will be glued. So a little bit in all the petals. I love these little bottles for the glue. It comes out really easily. And they actually last a really long time. You would think that because it's a little bottle it would go down really quickly, but it doesn't. I can normally get about 10 layered designs done per little bottle. Just adding a tiny bit of glue into the tip of all of these intricate bits. These are quite narrow again, so I don't want to add too much and risk it smudging through to the other side. And then line it up. Oh, I've not quite got that right. So luckily, because it's glue, I can just move it about until it's in position. Right, there we go, halfway there. Next up is the yellow. So let's separate these. And just like before, I'm going to put foam on the solid layer on the back of it. One bit in every petal, and then you've guessed it, bits in the middle as well. Got all my foam done, so I can just put this into place. There we are. And now the darker yellow to go on the top. As the layers get smaller, you kind of need less glue and foam every time. So although it might seem like you're using up loads of your supplies on the bottom couple of layers, it does get a bit better. And then again, I'm just going to put a little bit of glue in the tips of the petals to help them stick down. You could also use the kind of adhesive that comes in a sort of spray adhesive. The words are escaping me there. Obviously, if you're going to do that, make sure you're in a well-ventilated area and protect your work surface to make sure you don't spray sticky all over it. But that could be a really good alternate way to get the stickiness, the glue, onto all of these narrow parts of the layers. But I don't have any spray adhesive, so I'm sticking with glue. We are nearly there now. Let's move on to orange. And then the solid bit in here is this little flower shape. So I just need one in the middle this time, and then I'll put one in each of the petals. You can see a pattern emerging here of how we do each layer. Now, all of my SVG files do come with an assembly guide PDF, which shows you a picture of all of the different layers, and then it tells you what order to stick them together in. And then for each layer, it says whether to use glue or foam for that layer. So that does make it really easy to know which order to stick together. And that is included in the zip folder that you downloaded from my website when you got the free file. And if you've purchased any of my files from my shop, so any of my dog or cat layered mandalas or any of the other designs in there, they all come with the assembly guide as well. And you can either look at that on your computer or you can print it out if you want to actually have a physical copy when you're crafting. All right, so now I'm moving on to the very last layer, which is the red one. Stick my foam in. This mandala would look really nice all done in just two colours as well, I think, if you just made all the layers sort of the same. So the solid layers were one colour, and then the darker, the intricate layers were another colour, a darker version maybe, but it was all the same. I think that would be really pretty. You could even possibly cut it sort of all from white, and then it would make a nice snowflake for Christmas. So let's get that one lined up. And now we have this, and this is really narrow, so I'm going to be putting my little needle tip bottle to the test. This is where spray adhesive may be easier, but actually, looking at this, it seems to be just about fine for my little glue bottle. Just putting little dots of glue in here. Go around all the edge. I'm being a little bit messy. You can see I'm getting it on my craft mat. So I would recommend taking your time, or maybe doing it on top of a bit of scrap paper or something so you don't get any glue on your work surface. But now I can just put that there, stick it down, and that is my rainbow layered mandala, all finished and put together. I hope you enjoyed this video on how to assemble my layered mandala SVG. The free design is available at craftwithsarah.com/free-SVGs, or click the link in the description of this video. I release free SVGs regularly, so make sure you don't miss out by subscribing to my YouTube channel. Thank you so much for watching. Bye!